Cool. Awesome. What's up, y'all? This is Trevor here with Carrot, coming at you with another session of Ask Carrot, which I'm pumped about. We're using this microphone here, right, Brady? Yeah? Okay, cool. What's up, Adrian? Mr. Adrian Nez is on here as well. I need to actually mute my audio here. What's up, Instagram people? Cool. Hi, guys. Trevor here, Adrian here, going live with you on Ask Carrot, what's it called? In today's episode, I'm pumped about today's episode because today's episode is actually really specific on some questions and some things that Investor Carrot, Agent Carrot members that I've been talking to lately have been talking about. I talked with a really high-level client this week, Tim. He has a lot of experience in real estate, been closing tons of deals over the past 10 plus years, has a brokerage, the whole thing. But we were talking and he said, man, my ROI on my marketing, not just my online marketing, but my offline marketing too, because it's a fraction of what it was a year or two ago. What do I do? And there's all these different things that we were starting to look at and diagnose. And well, is it this? Is it the website? Is it this? Is it the marketing piece? What is it? And it's a mixture of things. And I've had the same conversation with lots of people because we're in this market. Adrian and I are going to be talking about the market phase we're in. And right here on this piece of paper, right here, I've got the 3 tactics to increase your ROI in 2019 and 2020. 3 very specific things. The exact same things I'm coaching Tim on, the exact same things I'm coaching other people on that would pay $3,000 to $5,000 a month to be able to have us execute or guide them on this stuff. So, Mr. Adrian Nez, what's up, man? Welcome on Ask Carrot again, bud.
Hey, how are you? Awesome, dude. Always cool to be on these calls with you. And this particular call, I'm really excited about as usual.
Mm-hmm.
But the reason why I think is that I think when people talk about, hey, my ROI is dipping, I think people tend to kind of lean one or the other.
Yep.
And really not step back and just do a thorough check of really what the issue is. You know, it's easy to go down a rabbit hole. And so I love this topic. You know, we'll definitely able to help people identify, okay, is this because due to market dynamics or is it self-sabotage?
Yep.
You know what I mean? Things that you're doing are really even things you're not doing, or, you know, things that has to do with that we have control of, or maybe you just don't have the right insight, which this is what this call is for. And this call will be for those that we can help with that. So
100%. And dude, really quick, if you have headsets on you, throw those headphones on. I think it's getting a little bit of feedback on the IG side of things.
Okay.
We've got some amazing tech heads with us on Instagram helping us through this part of it. But awesome, guys. So we're going to dive in. Before we dive into the topics, I've got my trusty water bottle here. So one thing that we're doing, I actually chatted with Jen, my assistant. We get a lot of people asking, where do I get one of these things? Where do I get one of these Carrot water bottles? And we're going to have an answer for you on that pretty soon. So if anyone wants one of I'm going to invent this like super hydration water bottles. These are the Carrot super hydration water bottles. They'll be Carrot branded. They'll have the little Carrot green, the whole thing. Keep an eye out. There will be a way in our marketplace at Carrot to be able to get one of our water bottles right there. So what's up, guys? Yep, we're going to nail the audio, guys. Hold on one second. We're going to nail the audio. Adrian's getting some headphones on, okay? But that's only on Instagram. On Facebook, guys, if you're on Instagram, head over to Facebook. Audio is perfect over there. So we're going to be diving in, and we're going to be diving into, if you're just joining us, the 3 tactics to increase your ROI in 2019. We're going to walk through a few things here on the dynamics of exactly where we are in the real estate market, whether you're a real estate investor or agent. This is really important for you at this point because we're in this interesting phase, right? And I'm going to be talking about exactly where we are. I'm going to be casting some vision on where the market's going next and how that impacts your business as an agent or an investor. And then exactly the moves, exactly the tactics, so you can kind of pace and plan ahead of times and get ahead of the market rather than being behind on it, okay? Couple cool announcements though. So Mr. Adrian, he's on the opposite side of the coast right now. Can you guys, awesome guys, thank you. Instagram, audio's fixed, thanks Adrian. So Adrian is on the other side of the country. He's in North Carolina. I'm in Oregon. Weather is beautiful this week. May is always like, oh my gosh, May is just an amazing month because the spring's starting to kick in. And the reason I'm excited about it is Adrian is going to be flying over from North Carolina into Oregon in about 3 weeks for 2.5 weeks, man, for Carrot Camp. So Adrian, dude, I'm pumped to have you out here at Carrot Camp. What are you looking forward to for Carrot Camp?
Dude, like to me, Oregon is beginning to be home away from home.
Yep.
You know, obviously there's some other stuff that was happening this week. We actually canceled me and Trevor are part of a mastermind, but we're not going there because we want to be 100% focused about, Carrot Camp. And to me, I just want to be so focused on what I get there. Obviously it's always great to see the team, the culture, be part of that, just to be there in person with everybody. But really super excited to have 15 of some of the smartest, successful investors come in and us pour into them. And it's going to be a good time. I just love, I always look at Oregon as a retreat almost. Gets you out of the norm and normal stuff of every day. So super excited. Going to be there for a whole week. So,
dude, so some of the people showing up for Carrot Camp, I'm really excited about this. So what's up, y'all? I'm really excited about the Carrot Camp coming up. So we are sold out. If you guys go to carrotcamp.com, you're going to see the page is updated, completely sold out. Really, really excited about it. So we've got Bo Hollis returning for his second Carrot Camp. He was at the last one. Does over 100 deals a year. And dude, the thing I'm most proud about Bo right now, he's like really diving into the content side head first, because he's been a cold calling guy. He's been hustling in his market, but he's making the switch to go, you know what? I know that I've got to really stand out in my market in ways that other people can't. So other people can cold call the heck out of things, but the way that you stand out is with content, is by building credibility. We're gonna be talking about some of that today. But then also we've got Brandy Pollock that's coming back for a second Carrot Camp out of Florida. He's crushing it. I remember when we were, Brady, I don't know if this impacts anything, but my audio changed a little bit when you did that. I don't know. Say something, Adrian.
Hey, can you guys hear
You're
me?
good. Perfect, man. Cool, thanks. So Brandy Pollock is coming back for a second one. When we were out there at Wholesaling Inc. in North Carolina, or I was out there, Brandy was in the crowd, and he's like, I just closed a deal. It was I think it was a $90,000 deal that came from his online marketing that he started after Carrot Camp. He wasn't doing any online marketing. And then he leaves Carrot Camp. We give him a plan. We give him resources to execute. He executes, and he's been closing multiple six figures since then. Ben Socek coming back for a second Carrot Camp. Did his first $1 million year last year. You were helping him with SEO. We were helping with PPC, concierge program. Carter Steff, largest home buyer in Oklahoma City, possibly the largest in all of Oklahoma. He's coming out. Tyler Ford's been on the podcast several times. He's coming up. He's a late addition, which I'm loving it. Man, I can keep on going. We're missing some big ones still, dude.
Mr. El Paso.
Edward Beck.
He's coming back.
Him and his business partner are coming back. He was at the very first Carrot Camp. Man, we're missing some amazing ones, dude.
Christina
Kraus. Man, she's huge. And then Rob Nickel, the owner of the largest VA service in the industry. He's coming out to Carrot Camp. Of course, our team, you, Kylie. There's others, guys and gals, that are just amazing, amazing people. So if you're looking at Carrot Camp, it's going to sell out fast in September. I was already chatting this morning on text with Adam and Brent, Adam Johnson, Brent Moreno, and they're like, we want to come out to the September Carrot Camp. Maxwell, and Tony said they want to come back out.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. September's going to be a big one. Obviously, each one that we do is always special. I mean, it's amazing the impact. As you remember, Brandy, even I give credit to Carrot Camp for Bo, because me and T-Rob taught him how to use Instagram.
That's right.
Over a bottle of wine. Dude,
yeah.
He was intimidated by it, but now he's crushing it. It's amazing some of the stuff that has happened to. I mean, we can go on and on about. Tang, Tang. He's one that stands out. Just how he's transformed his business from that trip alone. We can go on and on, but I'm so blessed that I can have conversations with some of these guys. I mean, some of it, some personal stuff that they've shared with me that just has made impact, because it's just not about just real estate stuff. Like I said, it really forces you to kind of there's just something about Roseburg that just really kind of does that. I mean, I've told you many times on a podcast how I had a big what's that word?
Epiphany.
Yeah.
Revelation. One of those. Yeah.
And your maid's quarters.
Oh, my nanny's quarters. Yeah.
Nanny's
at
quarters.
Our house.
At your house. Just a lot of stuff like that. I think it's so good. I think every investor to just get out of your normal element, your normal work and space environment. Surround yourself with people that are gonna not just encourage you, but improve, that just make you a better person overall as a person, but also just as an investor. So
cool. I love it. So we're going to dive into the topic, but before I do, I just want to get this out of my brain. Right before this call, guys, right before this call, I came in from the building next door. So we've got 8,000 square feet up here for the loft. It's completely full, amazing people. But we wanted to buy a building downtown that we could really renovate, and there's a lot of reasons for it. That's a whole nother call by itself, but it was really cool. I had a chance to tour the building next door, and there's a possibility, man, that by the time you guys get out here for Carrot Camp, we could make a tour of that building, and we're going to own it, hopefully. That's what I'm hoping.
Whoa,
by Carrot Camp.
I remember when you put the first to that offer. That's cool.
So that's a different one. I didn't get that building. Someone else got that building down there. I made the offer. Someone came in behind a full cash offer. But literally the building that we're attached to is the one that I looked at today, and I'm excited about it. So I'm crossing my fingers there. The seller's amazing. I'm just pumped about what we can do for downtown. So
that's awesome.
Right here, man, let's dive into this. So I'm going to start it off with this. Once again, I had a call with Tim, one of our clients, last week, and we followed up by email. And it's not the first time I've had this call, and it's just really part of the market dynamics. And for those of you who are hopping on right now, the way that the call consisted of is this. He's a big investor. He has a bunch of rental properties. He has a brokerage. He does a bunch of flips. They're starting to do some more wholesales. I remember when Tim was out at Carrot Camp, actually he was a Carrot Camper, they weren't doing any wholesales. And then he was at the Carrot Camp with Brad Chandler and a bunch of the other guys, and they're like, man, you need to start a wholesale division. And so right after that Carrot Camp, I remember getting a note in our Carrot Camp alumni Facebook page, and he said essentially about 60 days later, here's what's happened. We were inspired by the ecosystem at Carrot Camp. They got a building downtown for their office. They started to build a culture, and he started a wholesale division that made about 60 grand in that first 60 days, 50-something thousand bucks. And so he started to shift some things. But what he's seeing is a dip in ROI. Okay, so this right here, let's look at a little timeline. Let's say this is, let's just say this is 2012. Okay, let's say this is 16. Let's say this is 18. And this is 19. Okay, so what happens is when it's a market that's not as competitive, your marketing dollars go a lot farther, right? In 2012, 13, 14, 15, even 16, your direct mail, your Google pay-per-click, there's less people spending for that. Therefore, your cost per click, your cost per lead, your cost per customer, your deal is a little bit lower, right? But also during those phases, oftentimes your profit margin might have been a little bit lower because you weren't getting some of that appreciation in there, right? So your ROI for a lot of your marketing was up here, and as a lot more people start to dive into the market, the demand for being a real estate investor and or agent gets bigger. Let's look at this as the demand, right? So in 2012, there wasn't as much demand for being in the market as real estate investors there is today. And this is kind of what you see now. So that's the demand to be a real estate investor or agent. Because when people see things going well, they want to jump in. And so your ROI and your marketing in general, if there's less competition, unless you're doing things to stand out, and that's what we're going to be talking about today. Unless you're doing the three things we're going to be talking about today, your ROI tends to start to kind of go down, right? And that's kind of where Tim was with this certain type of marketing, and many other people that we're talking to now is because you have demand up here that's competition. Here's your gap now. And now what we're going to be talking about is how do you close this gap? If competition is going to be up here, and I really feel that for those that are savvy and start to build a real business, they're going to stay in business, but we are going to see a little bit of that competition wane, I think, in the next 2 years. As some of the newer investors aren't able to kind of get the processes in place and maybe get their mindset shifted, but we want to help you do that if you're a newer investor. We're going to start to see that go down a little bit. We want to see you start to get your profit margins back up, okay? So I've got three things in my mind, Adrian. We'll go through them. If you have any things outside of those three, we'll dive into those as well, okay?
Yeah, so let me kind of plant a seed for you guys because we've been talking about this for a while.
Yep.
I think we started, at least for this year, we started at the Market Leader Summit that we did. And it just it's just something that reinforces what me and Trevor have been saying is that it's time to be intentional marketers, right? You can't just ride the wave of what worked before in terms of just a general message of how we solve this particular problem and this is how we do it. Now that can work for a period of time because here's the thing, when the ROI is at its peak as investors, one of the reasons why is because there's less awareness of other options that home seller has.
Yep.
Okay, so it's easier to close on those. There's less obstacles, but when competition comes in, as the market heats up, then that's when you begin to have some other things come into play and start playing a role, such as, like I know in my market, we're not quite at the peak yet, but I'm noticing and getting, I'm seeing a lot of agents really start putting up billboards. They're beginning to guarantee sales. What they're flooding neighborhoods with postcards. They're indoctrinating the market about how um, get top dollar. Listings are
Mm.
going fast. So what are they doing? They're indoctrinating the market about to have high expectations, and
Yep.
sometimes it's unrealistic expectations. So that's why many of you guys, you're probably getting a lot of tire kickers, even though maybe your AdWords, your Facebook, all of that is fine tuned. It's very polished, but you're still getting a lot of these tire kickers. A part of that is because you have more people that are now aware of other ways to possibly get rid of their house, and also they're being told now's the time to sell, get top dollar. Listings are going fast. So I just want to kind of throw that dynamic in because it plays a role and it really solidifies why it's so important. You got to be a content marketer, and of course, this is what we're talking about today.
Dude, 100%. And it was really cool. I had a meeting with the G team, local real estate brokerage. They moved over from Century 21 to EXP lately, because what happens when you start to really build a good reputation, whether you're an investor or an agent, is you start to build a brand, right? I mean, you guys watching this right now, it's very clear that we're building a brand. I mean, within this one screen on your Facebook or Instagram page, you guys probably see our brand at least 3 to 4 to 5 times on here. And how does this relate to you? I'm going to tell you. Like, look at this. That's our brand. It's orange, right? Got my carrot hat. Got my carrot thingy here. I've got my carrot thingy here. What's the color of this right here, right? That's orange. Adrian's got his International Carrot Day shirt on. So right here on my computer, like, there's so many brand touches. Now, why is this important? How does this really relate to you guys? You don't have to like put your colors and everything everywhere. It relates because when you start to connect with people through brand and through credibility, you got carrot buds there. You start to add a moat. You start to create a moat around your business. You start to add this comfort zone, because when everybody out there is doing the same thing, if you're a real estate investor, your offering is basically similar, right? I can buy your house, I can buy it quickly, I can pay cash or close quick. There's some variations of it, but it's essentially the offering's the same. If you're a real estate agent, the same thing. It's like, I can list your house, I can help you find a home. My commission is within this very tight range, probably 2 to 6%, depending on both sides of it. And so it's like, if the offering's the same, now how do you stand out? How is it that you stand out and someone chooses you? So this is the very first of the 3 tips, is this, okay? Is close the credibility gap, okay? So we want to increase your ROI. We want to close that gap there. I'm going to erase this. The first tip is close your credibility gap, and I'm going to actually share my computer screen here in a couple minutes and show you what that means actually online, okay? So number 1, close credibility. We'll put a period there, gap, okay? No one's ever told me I have good handwriting, but you guys know what I mean there. So the first thing you got to do is close the credibility gap. So when I was on the phone with Tim, and I've talked to many other clients like this as well, 2-3 years ago, you were able to put up an amazing Google AdWords campaign or direct mail campaign or cold calling and see massive ROIs. Now, it's not saying you can't do that today. You totally can. You have to shift some things. But one thing that this client brought up to me is, he said, "Man, I've got way more experience than this other guy or these other 2 people in my market, but why are they beating me in the deals?" It's not that the deals aren't there. That's not the case. Why are these people who are newer, less experienced, why are they winning these deals? He goes, "Because if I can get into that house, if I can actually talk to the seller, I'm going to win the deal. I'm really good at negotiating. I've got a bigger track record. I've got better programs and systems to help them do this stuff. Why are they winning these deals?" And the first thing that I did, Adrian, was I went to Google, and I'm going to pull it up here in a bit. I went to Google, and hopefully, Tim, you don't mind me sharing this, but I went to Google, and basically I did some Google searching. I'm like, well, I'm going to put myself in the mind of this seller, okay? Yep. And I've talked about this before. I've got a whole graphic of it. Brady put this in the show notes, and we'll link it up, but it's the Inside of the Motivated House Seller blog post, where it's got my graphic, and it shows the different levels that a seller has to go through, buyer to make a decision. Right. First of all, they're solution aware. Hey, I've got a problem, or they're problem aware. Yep. I've got a problem. Right? I inherited this house, or I am going through a divorce. And I need to sell this house, or whatever it is. Okay, they've got a problem. If you're a real estate agent, it's like, oh, I need to upgrade my house. I need to downgrade my house. I need to do whatever. They've got a problem. Number 2, once they've recognized they have a problem, then they're like, okay, I know I have a problem. I need to solve this thing. And now I'm open, and I'm going to be perceptive to solutions. Okay, they're going to see the billboard that you mentioned that an agent's putting up. And they're going to go, whoa, like, it looks like that agent they're pretty confident they can get this thing sold. They're going to guarantee that it'll get sold, or they'll buy it. That's pretty cool. And then they get like a direct mail piece, or someone picks up the phone and calls them, and then they do some Google searches, right? All of them are doing Google searches. And so you've got 4, 5, 6 different options now. Now they're solution aware. Okay, there's 4, 5, or 6 different options. All of these investors that I've been talking to and agents too, they had done that part well. Okay, they'd done that well. They'd been doing the marketing. They'd been doing the Google PPC or even the SEO sometimes, and they've been doing the offline marketing. They'd done that part well. They are making their clients aware that they are one of the solutions. Where they're falling down is this. It's what I call the credibility gap. It's when they're researching you, when they're researching the others, the same thing that you and I all do when we're buying shoes, when we're looking to eat a burrito downtown. Like, do you think that your people are actually, that are looking to sell and buy houses, they're researching you. They're doing it for burritos. Why would they not be doing it for houses? They are. And what happened when I'll finish this one thought, Adrian. What happened when I said to Tim, I'm like, man, well, let's do this. Let's just do some Google searches around your company name plus the word reviews. Let's pull up those other couple competitors of yours and look at their sites and then do their company name with the word reviews. And let's just see what your prospects are seeing when they're vetting their options. And I'm like, it's clear. Like this right here, they have no clue that you have all that experience based on what they find online. They have no clue that you're an expert in all these things based on what they find online. They have no clue the programs that you had talked about, that you said are like, man, we've got these amazing programs that they can't touch. They have no clue about them because they're not online. They're not in content, things like that.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts, man?
Yeah, I love it. I love it. So to kind of add on to what you're saying, Trevor, is we live in a time to where like you said, for years we all, and I'm gonna talk in SEO online terms. So hopefully you guys can follow me. So for so many years, our marketing has been around keywords, which is being discoverable, right? If someone does a keyword search, they find us. They have no clue who we are. We're living in a time to where not only do you have to be discoverable, but you also have to be available.
Yep.
All right. So, and what I mean by available, guys, is like you said with Tim. Yes, he might be number one, or he might have a killer postcard that has the right message. But so he was discovered, but now we're a lot more weight's going to fall on is he available? Meaning now they know who Tim is. They know his company. So what they're going to do? They're going to Google his business name. They're going to Google the name that you're putting into your signature on your letters that you're sending out. They're going to Google your phone number. Any information that you're providing off your current marketing material, they're going to be searching for you. So I challenge everyone, don't think in terms of just being found by keywords, but you need to also be found by your brand or by your company. So, and that's what, I believe that's what you're really saying, and it's so important.
Yep, exactly. So I'm going to draw this thing, and then Brady, I'll give you the cue. We'll switch over to the computer screen for a second. So here's what I mean right here, y'all, is when you're looking at the lifestyle or the life cycle of a deal, okay, you're looking at the life cycle of a deal. Over here is your marketing piece that reached the person, okay? So you're marketing to a person. This is supposed to be a person, okay? So that's a person. Okay, so your marketing went to that person. It was a direct mail piece. It was Google pay-per-click ad. It was search engine optimization, whatever it is. You somehow reach out to that person, okay? So that's one spot that you can leverage and improve the conversion rate of, right? And that's what we're looking at. What are the spots along this? This right here is money. That's cashing the deal. That's closing the transaction as an agent. That's closing the deal as an investor. Over here is actually your first contact. So every one of these spots, you have stuff leaking out. There's spots where people are leaking out, okay? What's happened with most people, like I said, is they're getting the attention of the person. And let's say this is your website, okay? So that's one spot right there. Is there opportunity to increase the conversion rate on your website? That's what we do so well here at Carrot, right? Carter Steff, who's going to be out here for Carrot Camp, he owns the biggest home buyer. He's the biggest home buyer in Oklahoma City, possibly the biggest home buyer in all of Oklahoma. He had an amazing custom site. I mean, this site was beautiful. It looked amazing, and it was getting leads. So he thought it worked. But he's like, I have a feeling that it could work better. And so he moved over to Carrot through our concierge services. We dialed in his website for him, made it look amazing, brought in some elements design-wise that make him stand out from other Carrot members in his market, and drastically increased his conversion rate. So that was a big thing, is we were able to increase his conversion rate by over 50%. Okay, over 50% increase in leads just from his existing traffic, which was all offline marketing. So that's one lever there, is if you don't have a high converting website, that's what we do best, make it work great on mobile. That's a lever point. Once you've got that nailed, what's the next lever point, right? The next lever point is, how do you pre-frame someone to actually want to work with you, to actually take the appointment, to take the meeting? So the next lever point is this. It's you setting the appointment with them, right? Getting them on the phone or whatever it is. So that's another lever point. How do you now increase the conversion rate or the performance of the way that you're doing your phone calls, of the way that you're building rapport and credibility with your prospects? What, are you saying the right words? Are you building the right credibility and trust? John Martinez, who we've had on the Carrot Cast, did this amazingly. You guys can go back and check out that episode of the Carrot Cast. We'll link it up. That John actually walks through some very specific things you can do to increase your ability to connect with your sellers, add value, and close that deal. Okay, so that's a point where a lot of people are losing deals.
Yeah.
I was chatting with, who was it, man? This Brian Rockwell. Okay, Brian Rockwell. Rockwell had this part nailed, right? His website looks amazing. He has lots of credibility up here. He had that part nailed. But we saw him in Dallas, and he was saying that, his first year at Carrot, he did about 700 grand in revenue, all online, 100% online. The market has shifted a little bit and made it more competitive to get the online leads and deals. He said he was kind of on pace for about half of that. But what happens is most of the time we're blaming it on the front end.
Yep.
We're blaming
100%.
it here, right? Like, man, I need to make PPC work better. I need to make my website work better. Yeah, keep on working at making those work better. But what was happening, and Adrian can attest to this, and he posted this in our Carrot Camp alumni page, Facebook group, is he said, man, I took away one thing that I learned at Wholesaling Elite Live, and I implemented it, and I can't remember the profit on this deal, but he's like, I've closed 2 deals since I left, and it was like only a week or 2 after.
Yep.
And all he changed was what he's saying to sellers. He's building better relationship. He's staying with them longer than the next guy to build a better relationship.
No, I love that. And here's the thing too, guys, and I'm going to piggyback on what Trevor said is, guys, your marketing is going to get people through the door, right? It doesn't automatically, just because you get something, that doesn't mean they're going to convert. They're going to take that next step, whether it's call you, fill out the form, or set up that appointment. Look at it this way, guys. There's people's mind and there's people's heart. Your marketing message is going to speak to their mind to get them through that door. Where Brian began to really focus on, he already got the mind stuff down. Now it's getting to the person's heart, right? And the heart comes down to understanding their need, building rapport, just really understanding and just really walk through the process with this person, like addressing their fears, addressing their objections. One of the things that I always try and really tell people is that what we do as investors is not a normal transaction. It's not a normal service. So people are going to be naturally skeptical. Like they're trying to find a way to give themselves permission to trust you. Mm-hmm. And if we're not meeting those objections, like I said, at Carrot, one of the things that we really push on is on the company page, introduce yourself, write up a short bio, share your core values, cast your vision on the solution that you have for them specifically. Get some credibility up. And if you haven't done a deal yet, most of us know at least 3 or 5 professional people. Reach out to them and have them vouch for your character, right? So there's ways that, again, it's all getting to the heart of that person, because that's really where you're gonna capture them. And if you can capture their heart, I'm telling you, you're gonna put yourself in a position to where you're gonna be able to get deals, even though you're not the highest bidder.
Yep. I love it. I love it. So right here, here's one lever point. Make sure your website converts better, especially on mobile. We can take care of that. If you want to customize your website, we have services that can help it really stand out. We have a lot of people moving over from custom websites. They're the biggest investors in their market. They have the money to spend in the custom website. Their buddies at a mastermind says you really need to move to a custom site. But then they get worse result. They come back doing our concierge and get a way better result. Way better tech stack, way better performance. The next spot, like we said, is making it to where your ability to negotiate and connect with the seller or buyer increases. So increase your negotiation power. That right there, if you can increase your conversion on your website, move over to Carrot or add credibility and content to your Carrot site, it's going to help. Then you increase your conversion rate on setting up appointments, right? So that's setting up the appointment. The next spot is actually meeting at the seller's house or making an offer, right? So that's what Adrian was talking about. Increasing that performance on sitting down and connecting with them. That's what Brian Rockwell did, and immediately increased the amount of leads that were turning into deals. He increases lead to close ratio, right? And then there's another spot, which is the follow-up, okay? So let's say you didn't actually close those deals. How do you now increase your performance on the follow-up from ones that didn't turn into deals? How do you put them into email sequences, text sequences, phone calls, whatever? And then over here, this is actually, I'm gonna put like the disposition, okay? Or how do you now make sure that you're turning these deals into the highest profit, which leads into number 2. We're gonna introduce number 2 here in a second. But this is a biggie, y'all. Where at every single point in these steps can you add more credibility, okay? Because the big thing is this, with Tim and many other people, while they have the chops, they've got more experience, they've got more results, they have more of everything, they know that they do. What people can't tell when they do the Google searches is that they have that, right? So we need to make sure that you're pre-framing that prospect to want to work with you. So once again, if they have 5, 6, 7 different options, when they've done the Google searches, Brady, bring up my screen now and I'll do some cool stuff here. So we're gonna bring up my screen. And Adrian disappeared, but the screen's still there. So everybody, we'll bring Adrian back. But here's what I want to show you guys, okay? So this is just one, I love these guys. They've done such a great job, but what I want to show you is this. So I'm just gonna go, let's say I got a piece of marketing from these guys here, okay? So here's what I'm starting to search. I'm starting to search their company name, right? So what you see pop up now is you see some things starting to pop up that are suggested searches. Okay, suggested searches. So Nexus, home. Let's say I'm typing this in. I got a direct mail piece from them or whatever. This is what's important here, y'all. Zoom in on this if you can't see it, because Google is telling me this is what people are searching related to their company. This is that part of the cycle here. This is where they're vetting and verifying you. All this phase here. After they know about you, they're vetting and verifying you. Okay, that's not going to be the first thing that they type in because they don't know about you yet. As soon as they get your direct mail piece, as soon as they get your cold call, as soon as they get your RVM, as soon as they do a Google search and find your website, they've got 3, 4, 5 different options. They're going to go to Google and type these things up. And this right here is controlling the conversation around your brand, exactly how we started this call, okay? So people are typing in Nexus Home Buyers reviews. They want to know who's worked with them. They want to make sure that they're working with someone who's legit. Nexus Home Buyers insert city. The one at the end is really cool. Who owns Nexus Home Buyers Knoxville, Tennessee? Who owns it? Why are people searching that? They're searching that because they care about the people behind businesses these days, and they want to make sure that they're working with legitimate people. And now this is the cool thing. We've been teaching this for years and years and years, guys. They've executed it well. Many other customers have executed this well also. Video is a big deal. Why are we doing this on video? It's because it builds connection, it builds credibility, it builds expertise. When you can build connection, credibility, and expertise more than the next person, it builds comfort. They want to work with you. It builds comfort and trust. And so when I do that search, first up you see Better Business Bureau, and they've got a great rating there. And then you see their own website, and it's their testimonials page. So you can go down and see all their testimonials and their videos. But this is the cool thing, guys. When you upload your videos to YouTube, title your videos that phrase, your company name plus the word reviews, and then maybe put that person's name after it. We've been teaching this for 5 years, but hardly anyone does this. And what you see here is this. I searched their company name and reviews. We're controlling the conversation around my brand. We're controlling that conversation. Then we've got Yelp reviews. We've got a LinkedIn page, right? You've got all kinds of stuff. They even have pictures in the bottom. The images that they upload to their website are titled, their company name plus the word reviews. So they start to pipe up. You're completely controlling the conversation. Can you imagine if I looked for this company, and this is what I see, right? I see tons of different amazing reviews. Let's go ahead and look at a specific location and area. You're going to see their Google thing pop up here now, right? So they're still controlling their whole brand picture, but they've got dozens of Google reviews. I'm going to work with this company. I'm going to. Versus, let's say there's another company that has 10 times more experience, but they don't have any of their online credibility filled in. They have many, many credibility gaps. The less experienced but higher credibility, online credibility company is going to win the deal. Okay, so that's the second way that you can really, the first way up here, but there's 2 ways we've talked about. Close the credibility gaps at every stage. Get credibility on your website. Okay, present credibility when you're on phone calls. Okay, right here when you're in meeting with people, how do you serve them up a credibility pack, or you show up with your logoed t-shirt, you look professional. Okay, you don't drive up in a beat up truck. In your follow-up after that meeting, how do you then build more credibility? You send them an email, you send them a text message, with the video that says, hey Mark, it was amazing meeting with you yesterday. I'm going to send you a little note with a link to a bunch of clients we've had a chance to work with that have also inherited a house. We'd love the opportunity to work with you. If there's any questions you have at all, just let us know. Send that after you have the meeting with them. Close it. And then over here, this is going to lead to tip number 2. Okay, we'll circle back to closing credibility gap if we have questions there. Tip number 2 is, in this market, you've got to have multiple exit and profit strategies. Okay, and this is where I want to bring Adrian in for sure. So I'm just going to put multiple profit strategies. Okay. So I got a question the other day. It was on our coaching call on Tuesday, and the question is a really good question. This person closes deals, and they said, how do I really crack through more in SEO, and how do I make my PPC work better? And I asked them some questions. I said, okay, what's your average profit per deal? What's your average profit per deal? It was $5,000 in this part of California. And then I said, cool, how many leads does it take to close a deal? And for them, it was 20. And next, what I'm thinking in my mind is like, whoa, you're not profiting enough. And their question was, we're getting way too many retail buyer leads coming through our stuff, and they're throwing them away. And I'm going, well, that's an amazing opportunity. There's so many real estate agents that would absolutely love those retail buyer leads that you're throwing away. I was talking with Lucas Machado and his business partner. They do an amazing job, househeroes.com. They're crushing it with Carrot, multiple hundreds of thousands a year just with their Carrot website. And they said, man, we're getting dozens of land leads every single month, and we don't know what to do with them. I'm like, man, you guys are missing out on 6 figures a year because they're throwing away these land leads because you don't want them, but someone else does. So with the leads you're getting, you have to find a way to add value to every single person and find a way to help them out and get paid well to do so. So Adrian, on your end, man, what are you doing, or what do you see people doing? What do you coach people on for making sure that they have different ways to work a lead?
Well, definitely. I think, this business is about providing value, right, guys? We always say that you want to give options, at least when you're talking on the phone. So just exactly what they're doing, like establish relationships with other people. I mean, that's a big part. I think a lot of people miss it as investors is the way that you can increase your conversion rate is simply building more relationships.
Mm-hmm.
So like, I'm not an agent. I don't have it. But what we try to do is if we bring value to a client we know, or a customer or seller, we know we just can't do it. We look to make the transition in that conversation. Hey, we tell them why they need to list, right? Based on their goals, so we bring, because a lot of times that's a cool thing when people come to us. Let's talk about SEO. I love people coming to us because they'll value your input, right? So you're not just providing them with just a yes or no. Hey, no, I can't help you. Then that's it. Mm-hmm. But a lot of times they'll say no, but hey, have you thought about doing this? Like talking about a retail buyer. Hey, and a lot of times people don't want to list because they had a bad experience. So what we do is, hey, I'm sorry about that, but tell you what, we know this person that will actually, I can vouch for them. Mm. Or if they're caught up too much on the commission, we'll educate them on why they need to kind of get off of that. Or a lot of times they'll come back to us and say, you know what, you're right. I didn't look at it that way. I was just pissed off. Or this realtor, they got offended. And so what happens? We make that transition. I know in Pennsylvania, like me personally, I probably make about $1,000 to $1,500 a month just by handing over leads to an agent. Mm-hmm. That's it. So and that pays for marketing, right? So I mean, so we're able to now. Again, we're able to convert those leads, and by putting them into the hands of someone, we're getting. We're making something off of it. But here's the most important thing is that we help that person, right? And then a lot of times we try to say, hey, did you feel like we helped us? And then there's a testimonial right there, right? So yeah, so definitely, guys, we can't just look at things at just one dimensional. So, mm-hmm. But you got to build relationships. Agents, other investors, reach out, and that's the beauty of a lot. Like, shoot, how many people have done deals with each other in past Carrot Camp participants?
A lot, man. We see it all the time, dude. All the time.
Yeah. So that shows you right there, guys, the power of networking. And we have people that lend to each other. We have people that done co-JV deals and out of their area. You know what I mean? So,
dude, one really, I'm glad you brought that up, because here's a great example, right? At the last Carrot Camp, you had T-Rob there, Tony Robinson, you had Max there, of course. you had Daniel DiGiacomo, and a bunch of people, and then there was Petru too. And the reason I'm bringing this up is these guys are all in different areas. Okay, Petru's in Florida, Daniel's in Baltimore, T-Rob is in North Carolina. And so what happened was this, is Petru is a big online auction guy. Like almost all of his stuff happened online auction. He came to Carrot to go, how do I add on the online part where I can actually get motivated sellers instead of just the auction stuff? But then over here, Daniel DiGiacomo is like he doesn't do auctions at all, neither did T-Rob. But he knows this Baltimore market really, really well. He's got the buyer's list locked down, right? Mm-hmm. And so what happened was they worked together to be able to, Petru's like, cool, I'm gonna buy this property in Baltimore. I know those guys are in Baltimore. I bet Daniel's got a great buyer's list. Let's partner with Daniel. Daniel's gonna sell it. Daniel and T-Rob are gonna sell it. Then they split the profits. Petru wouldn't have got the profits out of that deal that he did unless he was able to work with Daniel. Daniel wouldn't have had any part of that deal at all unless he networked and built an asset of a cash buyer's list, and they all made it work. And that's the thing is how do you take your average profit per deal and increase it by having more exit strategies, right? So if you're getting, I'm just making this up, if you're getting 30 leads a month and you're only closing 1 in 20 of those into a deal, that means you're only closing 1 to 1.5 deals a month, right? At 5K. And these are the exact numbers from a client on the coaching call the other day. Okay, but what happens is the way that you win your market is by being able to spend more money for marketing. The way that you spend more money, you're able to spend more money for marketing is by getting more money and adding more value out of every lead, okay? Yep. The way that you add more value out of every lead is have more exit strategies. Like Adrian said, he's making money selling leads that are retail leads. He's not selling them, but he's having some sort of a revenue share in some way, shape, or form, whatever it is, with agents, and he's getting money there. But then I also know, well, Tang Wen came to the very first Carrot Camp, and we talked to them, and they did over 100 deals. You know, that next 12 months, they did over 100 deals. I think it was 2018. And he asked the question, and he's got an amazing Carrot site. It's ranking really well in Dallas. He's doing deals from that, but most of their deals come from this one source. I asked him, like, dude, where are most of your deals coming from? Like, other wholesalers, man. Like, all these wholesalers are looking at everything in this one box. Like, everything is this box of, it's got to fit this 65% or 70% or whatever your calculation is. It's got to fit this very specific mold. If it doesn't fit that, and if I can't do a wholesale deal off of it, it must be a bad lead. I'm going to move on. If it doesn't have any equity in it, there's not a deal there. And they're hitting up Tang because Tang's out there networking, letting people know he can do these creative deals. And he's doing that same deal subject too. The guy or gal that said I couldn't pull a deal out of this thing because it didn't fit this box, he's then going in there and going, I'm going to buy this thing subject too. And he's making 35 grand on it. And the cool thing is, it's not just about the money. It's this seller is actually, you're harming them by not actually going out there and finding the solutions to solve their problems. 100%. Like if you owned a gym, right, Adrian, if you owned a gym and you knew that every single person is different as far as what their nutritional intake needs to be and what their workout plan needs to be, but the only thing you had in there was an ab rocker, right? Like, I've got an ab rocker here, and you're coming in here, and unless you fit that mold where you need this ab rocker, I'm not going to be able to help you. That person's either going to suffer because they're not able to get healthy again, because you didn't do your research to figure out the other ways that you could serve the person, not serve the strategy. You're serving the strategy, y'all. You're serving the strategy. Serve the person by coming up with different strategies that help them. Once you're now able to close 1 in 10 of your leads into a deal rather than 1 in 20, and you start to move yourself up to 8K per deal or 10K or 15K per deal, then you can spend all that money back on marketing and beat them. Then your ROI goes up. And there's the last thing I've got to say. Actually, this goes into the third one, but got to get more exit strategies down right now, y'all. Agents too. Okay, agents, quit looking at everything as a listing. Oh, if this house is tore up and it needs 35 grand in repairs, and you're like, I can't show this thing. No, I can't show this thing. Go, you know what? This is an amazing investment opportunity. Maybe I should start getting into investing. Or maybe I should go network with or Google Sell My House Fast, Roseburg, Oregon, because Carrot customers dominate it. Reach out to 3 or 4 of those people and see if I can team up with them, give them this amazing lead, and I might be able to share in the profits there. You know?
No, that 100%. And if you're an agent, investors ain't the bad guy.
No.
I think a lot of people, and rightfully so. I mean, you're in any industry, you're gonna always have your bad apples. You know what I mean? So, but we're coming to a time to where there has to be a partnership. That's why I love our agent that we use here in Wilmington, Molly Tillieu.
Yep.
You shout out. Here's the thing. At first, when she used to do that, I wouldn't really be. I never took it seriously because I got so much. I got so much of the direct marketing mindset in my head. It made me so one dimensional, right? So I started kind of brushing that off in a way, just being honest, because I was so focused just on that one strategy. So, but she would send me more. Now I'm looking at them because you know I have to be accepting to the fact that you know what, there could be deals there too, right?
Yep.
One or two right there, and I can't just discredit that, right? So I love her mentality because she's a problem solver, right? She's not worried about that fear of rejection or whatever. She's just really sincerely trying to help us do more deals, and if she feels like this is a potential deal, she sends it to us. I really think that you have to really begin to, like you said, have more exit strategies, but also be more open, be more open-minded in different ways that you generate lead do deals, or even be open to pivoting if you have to.
Yep.
I mean, we've had some people pivot into different type strategies.
Yep.
So
I love it. So guys and gals, we're going to have about 10 minutes to answer questions. Okay, so pop questions through there. But one thing Adrian just mentioned is pivoting strategies, right? When I was talking to the House Hero guys, they're crushing it on the house side of things. But land is a big deal right now. And we have a lot of people using Carrot to crush it with land. I was talking with JP Moses, a buddy of mine, the other day. He lives in Tennessee. JP and I were talking. He's like, dude, I'm buying land right now in Klamath County, which is where I grew up. It's about 2.5 hours this way. That's kind of like his honeypot. He's buying land across the country from Klamath County. A lot of it's direct mail, but once again, you use the internet for building credibility. And we have a lot of our people bringing, some of our biggest lead generating websites right now are land sites right now, where they're bringing in so many buyers for land and so many sellers for land. If you guys want to add or pivot or add strategies to it, rather than just looking at only these types of houses, start to spin up a Carrot site on land. Start to look at some land properties, build up your cash buyer site for land, the whole thing. So go tackle those other things. The third strategy here, y'all, the third, and then we're going to answer questions, is once we've closed the credibility gap, this right here is probably the most important thing you can do. Your website's going to be critical in that. It's got to be easy to use. It's got to be great on mobile. It's got to load fast. If I were to pull up a page speed test where I ran it against a custom site that a client really liked, I ran it against a default Carrot site, and that client's Carrot site, the speed, the page load speed, and the tech stack wasn't even close versus this amazing, pretty custom site and the Carrot sites. And so when a website loads faster and it's easier to use, you're going to get a better possibility for ranking, better conversion, all that stuff. So that's going to be a biggie. Close that credibility gap. We have a whole podcast. We'll link it up on, I think it's called Your Credibility Score. What's your credibility score? And so that podcast right there, if you go through and learn how to increase your credibility score, that's going to help you close a lot more deals this year. Okay, next is, yep, go for it.
Hey Trevor, can you touch on this? I heard you say this, and this helped me. It was a while back you said this, but I love how you said, I think this is stopping a lot of people on the credibility side, is just a fear of their picture or their video, right? Them being on there. So I love what you said on one call. You did a coaching call, and I was listening at the airport a couple of years back, but you said something where you have to get over yourself in that area, because, and I took that to heart, because I remember in one of my Pennsylvania sites, I didn't have a picture up at that point because I'm a very private person. Not that I'm hiding anything. I'm just a private person.
Yep.
But again, I began to see a lot of traffic going to our company page, and guys, that's an indicator. So if a lot of people are going to your company page, it's because they want to know who you are. Mm-hmm. So that's a huge indicator. And if you're not introducing yourself to someone who wants to know who you are, they're probably not likely going to take that next step. So you got to make a decision. Like, do you really want to make this business work? If you do, those are some of the things that you just have to overcome and just kind of get over. So just for like 10, 15 seconds, can you cover on that? And what you said was really good.
Yeah, the biggest thing is people want to work with people, not businesses, right? So I think a lot of people go, well, shoot, Open Door doesn't have like their owners on the thing. And yeah, I mean, you don't have to have like the owners on the thing. There needs to be humanity. Okay.
Yep.
And that part of our company and mission is add humanity to business and help people save time for precious things in lives, things that matter. right? The humanity part's a big deal because there's so much of humanity getting yanked out. And when you can be the person that shows, hey, we're real people. Hey, we actually have a place of business, and we've worked with people before. Maybe you're brand new. I don't care what it is. They can read the thing and show, I've been a school teacher for 15 years. I'm passionate about this area. I love helping people. We had an issue where we inherited a house from our uncle, and it was a terrible situation. The options weren't good. So we decided to get into this business and help home sellers and home buyers with easier, better, quicker transactions. Like that person, if you've done no deals at all and you're a school teacher, amazing. Like that's your story. So get over yourself that you don't like to get on video. Get over yourself that you don't like to be on camera. I was that person for a while, right? Because whenever we hear our own voices, we're like, oh my gosh, this sounds terrible. But the thing is, that's the same face and same voice that walks up to a seller or a buyer. It's the same voice and same face you got to talk with, right? It's like, why are we then scared to put that same voice and same face out to other people? So get over that, because that's going to be the thing that helps give you the edge. It is. Just get over that. The third thing I've got here that I'm pulling up, see if there are any questions. Are there any questions in the sauna, Brady? No, you're good. Okay, cool. If there are questions, guys and gals, pop them through Instagram, pop them through Facebook, or carrot.com/ask. But the last part is this. So when I was on the phone with that client the other day, he did what is very natural and what's normal, so I don't fault him for it. But he said, man, I used to be able to put $1 into Google pay-per-click, and then now it's, I'm just making numbers up, right? But let's say I used to put in $1 and get 20 out. Now I'm putting in $1 and getting 2 out, okay? And he's going, I'm stopping Google pay-per-click. And he's frustrated because the ROI is going down. Once again, that's all natural. Like, I don't fault him for it. I've done the same thing. He's frustrated because the ROI was going down. It's like, man, I could take this money and put it over here so much better. And he said just like click costs are going up and my cost per deal is going up. And here's the dynamics that are going on here, y'all. Here's the dynamics that are going on. I don't really have room on the board anymore. But this is the dynamics. And this is what you're seeing. This is why ROI for many people has taken a little bit of a dip this past 6 to 8 months, okay? And this is normal. This is happening to big investors and agents. This is happening to brand new ones, okay? This is why it's happening, okay? So once again, we're gonna look at the timeline here, okay? So we've got demand, or there's options. This is people that are wanting to be an agent, be an investor. This is options for your house sellers and buyers, okay? It's increased. It's increased. Let's say this is 2012, there was less options. 2014, okay, a little bit more options. 16, let's say this is 19 today, okay? So your options for sellers and buyers has gone up, okay? So if you're over here, and this is your Google AdWords or Facebook or whatever it is, and your profits up here, okay, so this is your profits. Once again, as the options become available, your profits start to take a dip because there's a lot more people over here that are spending money in that same spot. A lot more people that are spending money on direct mail. A lot more people are spending money on Facebook ads. A lot more people are spending money on Google ads, right? So when that happens, your cost per click increases, okay? Your cost per lead on direct mail increases. Your cost per connection on a cold call increases as more people are using it. So what you have to do to make that better is, number one, you've got to close the credibility gap. That's the biggie. Okay, that's going to help you do more deals. Get more videos up online that talk about how you can help people. Use our feature video post, y'all. Video post. Record a video every single week, a 3 to 5 minute video, walking through a house or whatever. Hey, this is Adrian. I'm out here at a house where they actually inherited a property. The siblings are in 3 different states, and it's a tough situation. But you know what? They can't really list it on the market because of these. It needs $40,000 in repair. They don't have the money to put up front, and they really need to resolve it because there's some back taxes. So it's not something that an agent's likely going to help with. So here we are. Here's how we're helping this person resolve this situation. Da 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 da. If you're in a similar situation, we'd love to help you. Just go to adrianbuyshouses.com, fill out the form, or give us a call or text at XYZ. We'd love to help you out. Like if you do one of those every single week, just on the job content, put it into YouTube, put it into Facebook, put it into our feature called Video Post, where you literally put your YouTube URL, you paste it in there, and our system makes a written article for you. It yanks out all the words in that video, and it makes a written article for you. Do them 3 to 5 minutes, maybe 3 to 8 minutes. That's going to make a 500 to 800 word article on your website, and it's going to help you start to build that massive credibility profile. If they come from a Facebook ad or a Google ad and they're on your website and they start to Google you and they start to search for phrases, they're going to find your videos up there. They're going to find that you're an expert, that you know what you're doing, that you are amazing at this. And if they find that stuff and your competitors don't have it, then you're going to win. Okay? So another thing down here, spend more money. Why am I saying spend more money? I'm saying spend more money because of this. One of the things that Tim had mentioned, once again, I don't fault him for it. I've done the same thing. Is he said, man, I made the decision to stop the marketing because it's becoming not as profitable. And I said, man, I get it. I totally get it. But do this. If you're already putting $1 in and getting $2 out, number one, it works. It's still profitable for you. Number two, once you close the credibility gap, you're going to be closing more of those leads into deals. So you might be able to get that from $1 in, $2 out, up to $1 in, $10 out. You might even be able to get it from $1 to $20 again. Okay, because you need to increase your lead to close ratio. You do that by closing the credibility gaps here. Get the videos up on your website. Get a good about page up on your website. Get good testimonials and credibility up on the website. Get your reviews built out on Google, on Facebook, on BBB. Put those on your website. Make sure your website's easy to use, right? But the next thing is this, Adrian, is the reason those expenses are getting driven up. The reason those expenses are getting driven up is because there's so many more people bidding on those or sending the direct mail pieces out, right? What's going to happen is the less experienced investor or agent, they're going to get less and less motivated to do the business because it's hard. This isn't easy. Right? It's hard. And so if they find that the click costs continue to go up and all this stuff, and they don't have multiple exit strategies because they're newer and they haven't figured this out yet, right? They're down here at the 5K per deal. You're up here at 8K or 20K per deal, right? Because you're able to spend more. I would keep on spending, and I would actually spend more. I would actually spend more. As long as I'm putting $1 in, at least getting $2 or $3 out, I would spend more because then they're going to be more likely to give up. They're going to be more likely to give up. They're going to be like, man, I just can't compete in this Google pay-per-click stuff. The investors have been around for a while. They're just outspending me. I can't make it work. So they're going to be doing their Google PPC for 3, 4, 5, 6 months, and then they're going to stop it. And you're going to keep it going. Okay? And what you're going to be looking for is this. And I know this is speaking to not just an experienced investor. I'm not saying, hey, newer investors, you're in a disadvantage. No. I'm speaking to the mindset, not the experience level. I'm speaking to the mindset here. Okay, so if the demand for that goes down and some of the people get flushed out of the market, okay, you're still spending. There's less people competing for those same keywords. Your cost per click is going to go down. Your cost per deal is going to go down. Your profits are going to go back up. But you've been seated in there for a long time. And in 12 months and 18 months, if not sooner, I feel your profits are going to be going back up again. But if you give up on that source, you're actually enabling your competition to beat you out on those leads and deals in your market.
No, I love it. 100%, Trevor. I mean, you kind of have to be Ronald Reagan, guys. Remember when Ronald Reagan won the Cold War by outspending the Soviets? It's kind of the same concept, you know what I mean? So that's why, guys, you got to treat this as a business. And part of the business is that you always have to find ways to increase your resources, because what you do and the resources you have, that should be your competitive edge. And again, that's not to discourage any of the newbies. Really, it should be an encouragement. Now it's going to force you, how can I come up with a bigger budget? How can I leverage my unique ability so I can leverage that in the business? So guys, let this be an encouragement, because I mean, this is just where this business is heading, 100%.
Yep, I love it. So we're going to recap. We're right at 2:00. I've got Steve Londow coming in here for a CaratCast recording. Amazing investor. But we're going to recap it right here, y'all. Everybody, whether you're a newer investor or experienced, close the credibility gap. Okay, find those spots on your website when you Google search your company name plus the word reviews. When you're on a phone with the client, when you're meeting with them in person, when you're following up. How can you add more credibility at every step of the way? It's going to increase your lead to close ratio. Rather than closing 1 in 20, now you're going to close 1 in 15 or 1 in 10, which makes all of your marketing more profitable. The next thing is more exit strategies, okay? Rather than looking at everything in this little box of 65% or 75% or whatever your number is, start to network like Adrian said. Start to find other strategies to help people with. Start to send some of your leads that you say are, these like, oh, they're all retail, I can't do anything with them. Work with agents, send them those leads. They might then send you their really ones that they can't handle. Man, this needs $50,000 in repairs, da-da-da. Go to Adrian, because I know he can solve things like this, right? Start to be able to do that. And then you're going to increase your average profit per deal up. When you increase your average profit per deal, you can spend more on your marketing. Okay, and then the last thing is here, spend more on your marketing. And I know it sounds weird. A lot of people, when things get tough, the first thing they cut is their marketing dollar. And that's actually the first thing you should increase. Because when marketing's hard, as long as you're putting a buck in and getting more than a buck out, it's profitable. Make that work. Keep on honing these things. It's going to make it to where you're getting more dollars out with every dollar in. And then it's also going to make it harder for your competition to stay in. And they're going to get discouraged, honestly. And they're going to go, man, I just can't afford to pay what they're paying for direct mail or for Google pay-per-click or whatever. And then in 12 months and 18 months, the market's going to be clear again for you, and you're going to be crushing it. So that's what I've got. But if, it sounds like there's no questions, y'all. We love having you guys on. I got to bounce over to the podcast with Steve Lundow. But this episode right here, like I said, it was intense. A newer investor probably is especially going to look at this and go, oh my gosh, look at all the stuff I've got to do. But here's where it is. The first thing you should be focusing on is just getting your first deals done. Get some profit coming in, get your first deals done, get a website that converts well, start to add in some credibility, and then as you go, add in marketing strategies. And then eventually you're probably going to have a similar issue that Tim, a really experienced investor, and that guy was talking about, you're probably going to have a similar issue to what Tim had. But now you've got the strategy to wade through it. You've got the strategy to know market cycles breed opportunity, and they breed things that you need to adjust. This is an adjustment that you need to make as an experienced investor. This is an adjustment that if you're a newer investor, you should be ready and look at this and go, okay, just because click costs or whatever are getting higher, I shouldn't be discouraged. I should be networking the crap out of things and finding new ways to close deals, increase my average profit per deal so I can also compete against those guys, because you can do that. You can 1,000% compete against anyone in your market. I don't care how big they are. Brian Rockwell did it in Dallas. Did 700 grand his first year competing against the big guys. So there's no excuse for anyone not to.
100%, guys. This is a race. It's not about who has a shinier car. It's who's going to be the better driver. You know, not only who's going to be the better driver, but a NASCAR analogy I don't watch NASCAR at all. But to me, it's all about becoming that better driver, so meaning be a better marketer. Be a student of copywriting, guys. That's a good way to really hone in a lot of stuff we're talking about when it comes to your message. You know, it's saying the right things at the right moments. And then, then there's plenty of resources that we have, like the podcast with John Martinez. You guys dissect that, learn how to convert, set up KPIs and set up your conversions from contact to appointments. Keep track of that stuff, because without tracking it, you don't know what to improve. So I know Sean Terry has some awesome stuff on KPIs. So there's plenty of resources. It's out there, guys.
I love it. Adrian, man, I appreciate the heck out of you. Everybody, go to carrot.com/ask. Submit your questions for next week. Next week's episode is going to be live with Sean on the other side of this wall here. He's the guy who does all of our concierge client website designs. A big question we always get from people is, how do I make my website stand out in my market? We want to use Carrot because we know it performs better. We want to use Carrot because we know in the long run, not only does it give me more profit, but it's also less cost. I just want to make it stand out, right? So we're going to be diving in on websites, doing things to make them adjusted, showing you what we do on the concierge side, that you can do the same thing. Live on the call, we're going to be adjusting and dialing in websites. So show up next week, guys.
You guys are going to love Sean, man. He's the ambassador of Roseburg, I would say, but he's awesome.
He is. Well, everybody, we appreciate it. Throw a hashtag on Instagram or Facebook, #AskCarrot, #AskCarrot. Let us know what you learned. And we'll see you next week. And in the meantime, check out the podcast episodes we've rolled out this week. We're getting amazing feedback on it. And I'm gonna finish with this one celebration, and I'm gonna bounce over to the call with Steve. I know I'm a few minutes late. So I want to finish with this. Okay, this is a good microcosm of exactly what we've been talking about right here. I got a message from Robert Grand. Okay, he's out of Eugene, an hour north of here. Robert is a real estate agent. He's been a real estate agent for years. And he was kind of skeptical about going on the investor side, and he wasn't sure how to do it. He was even skeptical about joining Carrot and doing the whole thing, because there's other people in his market. He joined Carrot about 6-7 months ago, I think it was. He went through our marketplace. He got his website dialed in. He was going to hire a firm in our marketplace to do his PPC, but I saw that he's in a smaller market, and it doesn't make sense to spend a bunch of money on a PPC manager. So we said, you know what, man? We have our PPC AdWords. We have our AdWords Quick Start. We have a Google Ads Quick Start program where we'll take our campaign that we run to our concierge clients. We'll upload it to your Google AdWords. We'll dial it in. We'll give you some training, and then we'll check back on you in a few weeks to make sure things are going good. we did that. So rather than spending $7,000 over 3 months, he spent about $1,000 with us to get everything set up. And then he texted me this. Let's see. This is awesome right here. So he said, this was yesterday at 9:32 a.m. He said, this is a good headline. I spent $5,000 on everything Carrot has to offer, with some of that going to PPC, and it returned me $53,000 in one deal. I said, my brother and I have been really conservative finding our first company flip deal. We finally picked up a place in Oak Ridge, a little bit outside of Eugene, for $103,000. It should return $53,000 profit or maybe more. We're starting slowly, but it takes 5 real estate transactions to match the number. So he's saying he's going all in on investing. It takes 5 agent transactions, commissions, to match what he's making on the investment side in one deal.
Wow. That's awesome.
That's the importance of agents starting to look at that other side. If you're looking at everything as a listing, y'all, you're going to get ran over. You are. Partner with an investor, review one yourself. He said, we're starting slowly, but and I think the real estate transactions are more work when you think about 5 inspections, 5 appraisals, 5 repair addendums, 5 different clients. Basically 1 year from me deciding to pull the trigger on Carrot. I was on a 5-mile run listening to your podcast and thinking, why don't you just do it? Pull the trigger, just take action. I was slow to roll even after that, and I'm still slow with it because general real estate takes up all of our time. He's like, I wanted to quit general real estate 1 year ago after selling over 300 homes in 6 years. This guy was not a beginner. He sold over 300 homes in 6 years. Now my path is clear again. I love the concept, love your podcast, love Carrot, we're all in. So Robert, I just want to appreciate you, man, for taking that leap, for trusting us, but also trusting yourself. So congratulations. And this is not a testament to not be an agent. This is a testament to make sure that you're looking at both sides. You're a real estate professional. Find ones you can list, find ones you can buy, help people solve their problems. Adrian, thanks, man. Thank you, everyone. Have an amazing rest of the day. We'll talk soon. See ya.